Greetings. I'm delighted to join you today. Last week we spoke of the second beatitude and we considered three key areas. One, the nature of mourning. Two, the source of comfort. And three, the transformative power of mourning. This week we move on to the third beatitude, blessed are the meek. And I'd like to highlight three focus areas for us to consider. One, meekness demystified. In the Sermon on the Mount, we find we are challenged in our understanding of true blessedness. Matthew 5:5 begins the third beatitude, blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. For they will inherit the earth. This verse highlights the virtue of meekness and its connection to the blessings of God's kingdom. Let us explore this passage to understand the significance of being meek and the rewards it brings. Meekness, as understood in this verse, is not weakness or timidity, but rather a gentle strength that stems from a humble and surrendered heart. It involves a willingness to yield to God's will, to be teachable, and to respond with grace and patience in the face of adversity. The meek recognize their need for God's guidance and trust in His sovereignty. Meek very often is misunderstood and is undervalued. Society promotes assertiveness and self-promotion and the pursuit of personal gain. However, consider the example of a leader who leads with meekness. He or she listens attentively to his or her team members, values their contributions, and demonstrates humility in decision making. By cultivating an atmosphere of respect and collaboration, he or she empowers their team, fosters creativity, and achieves greater success collectively. From a scriptural standpoint, you read in Psalms chapter 37 verse 11, but the meek will inherit the land and enjoy peace and prosperity. So often meekness is equated to weakness, which is absolutely wrong. Secondly, the promise of inheritance. Jesus promises that the meek will inherit the earth. This inheritance extends beyond physical possessions and refers to the blessings of God's kingdom. The meek, by surrendering their will to God and embracing His ways, experience the fullness of His guidance and provision and the ultimate inheritance of eternal life. Now, Romans chapter 8 verse 17 says, now if we are children, then we are heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ, if indeed we share in His sufferings, in order that we may also share in His glory. In a competitive world that often values aggression and self-centeredness, it takes courage to embrace meekness. Think of an entrepreneur who, in pursuit of business success, prioritizes ethical practices, fair treatment of employees, and social responsibility. And by choosing to operate with integrity and humility, you not only build a thriving and sustainable business, but also leave a positive impact on your employees, the community at large, and the entire environment. Thirdly, the power of meekness. Meekness is not a sign of weakness, as I mentioned earlier, but a manifestation of the power of God working within us. It involves self-control, patience, and the fruit of the Spirit. Meekness allows us to respond to conflicts and challenges with wisdom, love, and peace, rather than reacting impulsively or aggressively. It is transformative as a virtue that brings harmony and healing and recognition. Proverbs chapter 16 verse 32 says, "Better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city." In our modern day world filled with social media, polarizing debates, and divisiveness, meekness is often seen as a rare virtue. However, consider if you were to engage in respectful and constructive dialogue amidst differing opinions, by listening attentively, seeking understanding, and responding with grace and humility, you can create an atmosphere where meaningful conversations can take place. And through meekness, you foster empathy, bridge divides, and contribute to positive change. To conclude, Matthew 5:5 teaches us the value and the power of meekness. It challenges our cultural notions of strength and power, revealing the blessings that come from surrendering to God's will and responding with humility and gentleness. We experience the guidance and provision of God-intended blessings in His kingdom and contribute to a more harmonious and compassionate world. Let us strive to cultivate the virtue of meekness in our lives, knowing that the true blessedness lies in surrendering to God and embracing His ways. This is Pearl John signing off the other 167. Keep watching, keep walking, and keep winning the world around. Have a wonderful week ahead, and we continue our series next week.